Morning, guys. Magandang umaga. Masating abak mayang buntag. How you guys doing all today? Well, today it's Saturday morning over here. Heidi won't be with us today. The thing about what's going on with Heidi, just real quick, just so you guys know, because I know one of you said Heidi hit the button. Again, I was the one in the helm, and again, this is a new software. I haven't operated the software recently, so and the camera controls are different from the other software. So either way, um, the thing about what's going on with Heidi, and I did warn her about this, um, not in like warn her because I do it casually. So she's, I mean, obviously we go to the doctors literally minimally once a week, twice a week at sometimes, and we go to different doctors actually. I mean, we've seen the same doctors probably three times once, and then the rest we've been seeing them once each, I think. But anyway, so the she's taking this new medicine, and it made her feel better. And this is very common with anybody who has the same conditions. What it is, it's once they take a new medicine, they feel better, and then they forget that they're not well. If that makes any sense. And I did warn her, like she would say stuff like, "Oh, I don't need the oxygen. I'm fine. I'm fine." That kind of stuff. And I tell her, "No, you need oxygen. The doctor said you need to be on it minimally, not at least. Well, I guess it's the same thing. At least. Well, he said you have to be on it at least 16 hours a day, and that's a lot. That's basically like almost most of your waking time. So he says you have to be on it at least 16 hours. And like I said during the last live, right before the live, like I said, I gave her a kiss and she was cold, and only then did I realize she was turning blue, literally. Because that's the thing. We have soft lighting here. We don't use the bright lights anymore, so I didn't notice that she was turning blue. Because even in the in camera, white probably looks white to you, but in real life, white looks kind of like beige. So what I'm saying, I didn't realize that she was turning blue already. What I'm getting at is, yesterday, or actually it was the day before yesterday, and yesterday she was moving around the house. I mean, she was still using her oxygen, but she was moving around the house like normal. And I do tell her occasionally, like, hey, take it easy. You're not even supposed to be up, because she's technically on bed rest. And the thing is, yesterday even well, it wasn't evening, it was probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then hit her, and she's like, I don't feel too good. And I think that's what she said. And I said, yeah, you've been doing too much, you're overdoing it. And that's when, like I said, you people with these types of illnesses or these conditions, they forget for a split second that they're not well, and they push themselves, and that's what she did. If- yeah. And the thing is, like yesterday, I'm sure you guys seen the hospital bed. We There's a two bedrooms upstairs, which are, one is for storage and one is like a guest bedroom, but that's where the cats hang out most of the time now. Well, they watch cat TV. They go up on the balcony and watch the people. They go people watch, and there's a double bed up there in the guest bedroom. But that's where the queen used to be. Our bed, me and Heidi's bed. It's We took it downstairs because the stairs are bad on both our knees, because we're not young whippersnappers. So, and the stairs are steep. So anyway, long story short, the bed was down here. But since the queen bed is down here and the hospital bed came in. There's no room for the queen bed. So we gave it away to the garbage man, one of our garbage men, and he says he likes it. It's soft. It's nice and soft. The kids love it. So apparently, he gave it to his kids, and that's where they sleep. I mean, it's very common here that kids sleep on the same mattress, that kind of deal. So anyway, so he has it, and there's no room for another bed. I mean, could we get the double bed down here? Yes, but it'll be kind of in the way. So most of the time, I sleep on the couch. Um, the reason why I'm saying this is because, again, last night I was actually concerned because Heidi is doesn't she she's not a like a she doesn't take over the bed, if that makes any sense. She doesn't roll around. She doesn't do any of that. She usually lays still, and if she does move, it's very minute. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, like you sleep on the same bed with them, they'll accidentally hit you with their arm flailing, that kind of deal. Heidi doesn't do that, but yesterday I was a little concerned because I was watching over her, and she was already asleep, but she kept staring, kept moving. She kept rustling in bed, like literally. She was fidgeting and stuff like that. So I watched over a while. Yeah. So no, Heidi's here with me right now, but
No, my chest is in the last 2 days tightening up,
yeah, she says her chest is tightening up, and
and all my muscles are hurting again.
right,
So
and
steroids and the new medicine for the lupus gave me a burst of
they
energy.
probably can't hear you.
I know, but you can just repeat it.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, she's
So I'm down.
so she's kind of having a hard time moving. I mean, I could. Do you want me to show you real quick on the camera? Okay, let me show you guys real quick on the camera. Um, Here. Okay, so look, this is the couch, right? Right here. She's right there, and that's the hospital bed. As you can see, it's taking up all the room, and it's
Well, it's not taking up all the
well for
room.
a bed. I mean, that's it. That's it for beds. I mean, and what I'm getting at is, yeah. So yeah, that's how the current setup is. And I tell you what, that's a stupid ass elaborate hoax. If I tell you what, I mean, I don't know about you guys. Sleeping on a couch and sleeping on a bed are two different things. You get it? That's a little too much. If that makes any sense. And like I said, it's a little too much to. Well, that's another thing, Heidi. I mean, hospital beds, they're not comfy, guys. I have no clue. Yeah, you will always feel the metal. The reason why that she needs a hospital bed is because she needs to be propped up while asleep. And actually, that's another problem that she faced too is um, remember I told you that you feel like you're getting better, which she was technically, but not getting. She's not getting better. She's getting relief. She's getting relief from the meds. So what happened was she decided to sleep one night. I forgot what night it was, to sleep on her back. Big mistake because now she has to regain all what it is. It's when you have edema, the fluids, like, basically they go up to your upper body and you can't breathe. So when she did that, it kind of reset everything back, and now she's trying to work it way the edema back down. If that makes any sense. Anyway, right.
The steroids gave me the false.
Um.
And tell them what the show is about.
Yeah. I'll get to the comments later. But yeah. Okay. So today we are talking about. Well, actually, before we talk about again, let's give our respects to the legend, the man, the legend, the myth, Chuck Norris. I guess he decided to check out. You know what I mean? Shuffle off the mortal coil. toes up the daisies, that kind of deal. So he's gone, guys, and this is for real this time. It's no joke. Also, Randy Rhodes too. For those of you who don't know who Randy Rhodes is, I can't play you what he plays. Randy Rhodes is the Slash of Black Sabbath. If that makes any sense to any of you guys. So most of those songs, he's the guitar one, the guitar guy who does the solos and the main riffs. If I play the riffs, you're like, oh, that's him. Yeah, that's what I mean. But anyway, yeah. So again, rest in peace, Chuck Norris, and rest in peace, Randy Rhodes. So today we're talking about a British expat, okay, who is allegedly scammed by a Filipina or his wife, and he was scammed for 7 million pesos, or $140,000 in U.S. currency, of course. Um, Now, this happened here in Cebu, in Lapu-Lapu Island, and we'll get into that. Simon says, "I ain't got no time for 7 million booty." Right? Fallen Sinner. Hello, Philippine Antics Squad. Click the like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Um, Simon says, "Don't forget to grab George in the A." And Earn Doggyful says, "Call of Booty." There you go. Bootylicious. That booty ain't worth a wooden nickel, right? Right. I mean, giving away your life earnings, life savings, isn't worth for no booty. Uh, Ted in the house. Hello, beautiful people. Hey, Ted. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well today too. Fallen Sinner says, "If I won 1 million pesos in a casino, but over 15 days lost it back. Was I scammed, or was I just irresponsible?" Personal accountability, people. Oh, okay. So, okay, now that's a good point. Right? What? Yeah. I mean, that's where the it's. I guess it's a matter of opinion. I mean, that's where even the law has limitations. For example, like in the U.S., I'm talking about the U.S. Okay, I'm not talking about the Philippines. In the US, if you married a woman and she decides to take all your money and leave you after you're married, the law can't do anything because technically, unless of course the assets are tied to a corporation, that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, no, that makes sense. But like I said, that's some people. Was it wrong? Yeah, there's no question about it. It's wrong. But legality wise, it goes into the gray area. If it's a scam, or if you're just irresponsible, correct? Her doggy full, another one bites the dust, right? Oh God, it's George. Thanks, man. um, Ted says that's eyeballing it. Oh, hey Harry, how you doing? Hey George, we can hear you now. Hey Victor Coco, how you doing, Victor Coco? George the man, I hope you stay strong and do well. All right, with that, let's get into it. Here's Senator Rafi Tufo.
Forbes, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Senator.
How can we help you, sir?
2022
I come to Philippines in Cebu to meet my now wife.
Your wife is Gay
Casador Cañete, sir.
Cañete.
Yes, sir.
Were you married?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. And this was when?
2022, sir, just after COVID.
And what happened?
So we have land in Bantayan, sir. We had 3 restaurants, which she closed behind my back. Obviously, because I am foreigner, sir, the restaurants do not. I cannot have business in the Philippines, sir.
Mm.
So she used that against me to close the restaurants, and I believe to get the money from the franchises and the equipment, etc., etc. When we were staying in Cordova, which is where one of the restaurants were, she emptied the entire condo from top to bottom.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
When I was at the restaurant. So we're talking clothes, chairs,
Furnitures, appliances?
everything.
Everything.
So I was left with an empty shell, apart from what was the owners of the condo, which was very little. And then obviously the tenancy was ended by the end of the month. The money from the restaurants was going to her bank on a weekly basis, sir. All my money from the UK was in the land, the restaurants. We also had the Ford Raptor.
How much are we talking about?
Just under 7 million pesos.
Ms. Gay Cañete, good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. It's not 7 million.
How many properties were both of you able to acquire during the span of 6 years when you were still both together?
We only franchise, sir. Right now, we only have the lending and the land.
We were on Brigada 2 years.
Okay. What's interesting here? Keep in mind she's still talking, and Rafi muted her.
When we were interviewed, the person that did the interview wanted us to speak Cebuano.
Before that, sir, as I mentioned before, they took my evidence also that were as an accusation. So I sent him where the money for first sir when he came here April 2022, he bought a new car in the latest one, the Ford Raptor. It's under his name, sir. It's under his name. And then May 27, 2022, it's our wedding. That we spent it 500,000, all package, including the prenup, the dress, foods, the venue, everything. And then, sir, we franchise pizza in the Daan Bantayan.
Can you name to us the businesses that you both were able to
Oh,
acquire?
sir.
What are these businesses?
Yes.
Pizza, burger, and then what else? You have the pizza parlor, you have the
that's-
burgers.
ZP's Pizza. But that one, that third business, sir, came from the money is came
Okay,
from
ma'am, you have three businesses. Okay, the first one.
But actually, sir, the three business, sir, is not that's coming from the car when nasold na po siya. That's from the car's money because, sir, we had an car accident. That was June 2022. We put it in the car services.
What Martin wants is that all the properties that you were able to acquire, the both of you, that includes the businesses, the land, and then money, split it in half.
Yes, sir.
And then you can part your own ways.
50-50, sir.
50-50. Oh, alam na alam niya.
50-50.
Yeah.
First business, sir, it's all already closed. You can we can call the owner, our franchisor, what's really happening, what's happening behind the back. Because actually, sir, he is very arrogant in front of the customer. He fight with me. He disrespect me. I actually maybe we have a staff there, and they see the situation that he made. He slapped me, even though there's my kids also, because we visit with my kids. And then after that, he told me that I'm a useless wife. I'm a puta. He said, and then you're whore, like that.
Okay, so for those of you who are wondering, again, like I said, he's there in Rafi because he says 50-50, which means, of course, 50-50. He just wants his fair share. I guess that's what he's trying to say. And of course, but you guys have to remember when I said allegedly earlier. Now, I don't know who you guys believe. What I'm saying is you have he says, she says. And remember, these are not like boyfriend, girlfriend. This is actually a married couple, a legally married couple that are not together anymore. And as far as accountability goes, we only have his word and her word to go by. Now, what do you guys think right now? I mean, And like say right now, she's saying that he mistreats her, he yells at her. Like right now, he just says oh well, he calls me a whore in front of customers, that kind of deal. So basically, that's her side of the story, and also what she's also saying that oh well, that's not what happened. The first business closed down while I was with him, but at the start of the story, you guys heard what he said. Is he said that she sold the businesses, plural, behind his back, which again, like, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like this is where remember when I said the gray area? This is where it becomes somewhat gray because it's one thing if she's a girlfriend and he was never here and the money was spent on the pretext of the business, and then all of a sudden the businesses are not there anymore when he arrived. That's a different story. But right now, it sounds to me that the businesses went up and down while they were together. Now it's more of a blaming game. But then again, we don't know what the full real story is. Um, oh, and just real quick again, second one, yes, thank you so much. Yes, Randy Rhodes died in no, it's his anniversary date. That's what I meant. It was yeah. It's the anniversary date. Um,
Sir, that you've been doing a lot of verbal abuse
No, sir.
against her in front of the customers?
No, sir. There needs to be both sides put across for this matter, sir. There would be times that she disappears for days on end, sir. And when
Okay.
I say disappear, she doesn't answer my phone calls. She doesn't answer my text messages. She doesn't come home. I don't know where she is. I'm the one that is left to look after her two kids, Fia and Zia. I came
are
to your
spe-
country, sir. I married this lady. I gave her millions of pesos, sir. So how does she make me look bad?
Okay.
No physical evidence. It's all verbal, all marites, sir. If I was a bad person, sir, I would be in jail in your country. After she left me, after she made me homeless, sir, after I was on the street begging for food, begging for water.
Oh, so you
No.
I
that's-
almost
no,
died, sir. If it wasn't for the family that I am living with today, sir, I would be patay. I would be dead. She has all my money because of the restaurants. Like I said, sir, the money is going into her bank on a weekly basis. She is a millionaire because of me. Because of me, sir.
You can check my
Right,
bank.
I am not lying, sir. I wouldn't
not
lie
afraid,
to a
Martin.
senator,
Martin,
sir.
So do you have a joint bank account?
That's the problem, sir. We were in the process of making it joint, but as I'm sure you can be aware, sir, things in Philippines take a little while. She left me before the account was made joint.
She has her own bank account
Yes.
without your name in it.
Yes. And
Okay.
because she is my wife, I trusted her. So the money from the restaurants, which is what was making us rich in the Philippines,
Right.
went into her bank. Because obviously I'm a foreigner, I cannot have GCash. It is hard for me to get a bank account, sir.
Attorney got it.
Yes po, Senator. Magandang hapon po.
What Mr. Forbes is saying that he married Gay Cañete in 2020, and then during their marriage, they were able to acquire many properties, including businesses, land, and cars, etc. And now they are separated, but not divorced yet. And what he wants is for him to at least get half of what's left of the business. And this is also another problem. Let's what's your take on this? They have
Okay.
Mrs. Forbes has opened a bank account on her own name without Mr. Forbes' name. So can Mr. Forbes still get some money out of it as his share, being the husband?
As it goes for the bank, Senator, every bank has their own internal rules. But generally speaking, since there is no prenuptial agreement, I suppose, then all the properties of the spouses are owned in co-ownership, or it's a conjugal property agreement, Senator. So there is no separate property to speak of. Whatever Ms. Cañete owns is also owned equally by our complainant. So that goes as well as to all of their properties, Senator. So as far as getting 50% back, that can be settled in the annulment proceedings that can follow later on when they want to terminate their marriage. Unfortunately for us, Senator, under the Philippine Revised Penal Code, Article 332, there is no property crimes between husband and wife. So we cannot file similarly like estafa or theft in the same way that we do usually in these cases because of the fact that they are married. So if we want 50% of the property, the best way to do that is in the separation of properties in annulment.
So during the annulment, when
Yes,
annulment
yes,
case
that
is
is.
going to be filed by either both anybody of any one of them, that's when he can recoup all the monies that maybe he has from Mrs. Ford.
Okay, well, right now, homeless, yeah, call care, right? Yeah, he's allegedly homeless in La Union, and I guess they brought him there. I'm not sure what the full story is on that one. Yeah, she's still jabbering away. Yeah, I know she's muted. Yeah. Um, now now the thing is about Miss Gay. I mean, that's her name. Um, Again, remember I said it's in a gray area. The thing is, I may be Filipino, but I'm siding on the British expat on this one, for a lot of reasons. For starters, it's depending on the behavior. I'm again behavior again. Just real quick again. It's not. It doesn't mean a person behaves a certain way. It means they're guilty or not guilty. It doesn't mean that anything because some people will behave a certain way I mean in opposite what do you call that situations. I mean they'll like for instance like in a panic situation or if there's something really bad happening, I would remain stoic. Or if something really happy happens, I would still remain stoic until I figure out, okay, is this real? Is this I analyze things, so therefore I'm stoic. So what I'm saying is, but that doesn't make me less happy or less sad of a certain situation. The same thing with this one. However, her behavior, from what I see, in my opinion, again, she seems like what do you call that? It's like panic mode, like she got caught and she doesn't know how to deal with it. If that makes any sense. But again, remember that's neither nor. You can't prosecute somebody over that type of behavior. Even in American law, you can't do that. So again, that's a matter of opinion too. Um, yeah, and Dougie Full says BS. I have Gcash. Um, Radar says he says he just wants 50-50, and she starts babbling how he treated her in front of customers, why she didn't address the 50-50 issue. The reason why is because whenever you're in front of people and you're in front of camera, a lot of people don't realize is you're in your own little world. What I mean is she's not thinking of and analyzing what he's saying. She's trying to get ahead of the game by preparing this speech in front of her inside her head, if that makes any sense. It's a defense mechanism. So that's why she didn't address the 50-50 issue, and that's why she said that, oh, he cussed her out, he physically abused her, that kind of stuff. That's why she said these things, because it's kind of like, why did you steal his money? Oh, because he keyed my car, that kind of deal. Like, you're trying to deflect, and that's why she didn't address the 50-50 issue, and that's why she said that, like you said, babbling how he treated her in front of the customers. Correct. Um, Earn Doggy full, guys full of BS. He can't own Shinola. Well, that's a who? Oh no, I haven't seen Victoria yet. Hey Victoria, how you doing? Oh, there she is. Yeah. Good morning, Heidi. Yeah, she says hi. Yeah. Um, that's up to the law to again mitigate which ones, whose, what share it is.
Sounds like she's still with the ex stuff, right? She was talking, she kept bringing up her ex about her. It almost sounds like they're still together.
Right. Okay, so first off, he did say that he can't own any properties here because he's a foreigner. That is understood. However, since you guys are married, that kind of overrides that, and that's what the guy is talking about. And like I said, it's up to the law to decide which share is yours. Usually it's half. Usually. Also, another thing, as Heidi mentioned just now, from the looks of it, she still seems to be in regular contact with her ex. Yeah, if not living with him, but the thing is, yeah, that's the thing. It's you have to keep if you're an expat, whether your friend is an expat, and what I'm saying is pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to the people around you, or to the your for example, if your friend's an expat in the Philippines, pay attention to his surroundings. Usually the guy that's hanging around, that's the cousin or the brother, is not a cousin or a brother. Or if especially if they say he's an ex. I mean, I'm not really the jealous type, but I tell you what, man, don't put a pin on it when they say that's my brother, that's my cousin, that's my ex. Put a pin on it and watch the behavior. If they disappear, at the same time at certain times, then what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. Because again, a lot of times when I watch these expats on YouTube, even the ones that you know I don't have to have beef with these expats because, in fact, one of them is again we were in constant contact with him, and I was like, that's not the next door neighbor. I told Heidi like in one of them, I said that's not next door neighbor. She's with him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Just pay attention to your surroundings and behavior and how they react to each other. You'll know. You know what I mean? And again, like the fact that she keeps mentioning the ex, like Heidi says, because we talked about this before the live. Like first, she asked me if who do I believe, if I believe the expat or the ex-wife. No, you know, in my opinion, I believe the expat. And now, is it a scam? That's a maybe. Because remember, um, you don't know if there's legitimate love in the relationship and then it just died down. You know what I'm saying? Like after the honeymoon phase, they drifted apart and then she went back. She's drifting back to her ex. Or this was a setup all along. We don't know that. Again, I mean, we don't know. Um, she may not she may have a completely platonic relationship with her ex. Or she may have a full affair. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to say. In my opinion, it's hard to say if it's a scam. So let me know if you guys think it's a scam or not.
Yes, Senator. Usually, in the course of annulment, both parties can agree in a project of partition where they split the properties owned by the husband and the former husband and wife. So that's the fastest way right now to get that annulment for psychological incapacity on the grounds of psychological incapacity.
But that would take some time.
Yes, yes, Senator. Unfortunately, again,
But Mr. Forbes now is homeless and he wants some money from their business or businesses because he doesn't have any money and some family is helping him, giving him shelter, food, and etc. Right now he's homeless, so he wants something out of their business. And
Yes.
Mrs. Forbes has the business in her under her
There's
management
no,
right now.
even though they are physically separated, there is no separation or there is no dissolution of the conjugal property. So whatever Ms. Cañete owns is equally owned by our complainant. So he cannot be prohibited from accessing the funds owned by the conjugal property. So he has every right to claim money from Ms. Cañete, Senator.
Okay, Mr. Forbes, how much do you think is she worth from the business that she's still managing right now, and the property that's under
I
her name,
know-
and the money in her bank account?
I know since she has left me, Senator, that she has acquired land and built a house. Now, we both know, Senator, that acquiring land and building a house is millions of pesos.
Depending on the property.
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, she can't lock him out. Actually, Heidi's the one who said that. She goes like, you can't lock me out, honey, babe. That's what she told me this morning. And she can get into my bank account, which, I mean, I was like, okay. I mean, it's not like I hide anything from my ID anyway. But anyway, nor will I lock her out. I know better than that. She'll bust the door down,
Are you sick or not, bitches?
sick or not.
I already said that. I'll find the fucking strength.
Yeah, she said she'll find the effing strength, sick or not. What? You- I can't say that. But anyway, now here's also another thing that
I was gonna have you tell them about the shit that's been coming up on Rashad, but you don't have to tell them what came up.
Oh no, I'm not. And I'm not. But anyway, there's some things we can't say on YouTube. Now, here's another reason why. Remember, I said, in my opinion, that I'm siding with the expat. Now he's just bringing it up right now, and this is one of the reasons why.
Yes. The question is how many millions? Like land in a nice area for a nice size is at least 600,000-700,000. I think is a fair estimate for minimum, sir. And for a nice house, foreigner standard, is 3-4 million. I think that's a fair amount to say.
All right.
So I would say minimum 5 million pesos.
Ms. Gay, give him 2.5 million, and he's gonna call it quits.
Sir, I don't have 2.5 million, sir, because we don't have money. I don't have money from him.
So how much?
I can
Okay,
prove
okay,
that, yes, sir.
okay. For the sake of argument, how much money do you have that you think you'll be able to share with him in order for him to be silent and let you go?
The only we have is the lending from his friend. That's money from the car when we sold the car. That's from money. That's
Ma'am, how much money can you offer?
I don't have money, sir.
You don't have even a penny?
I have a
She's living a
salary,
very
but
good life, sir. I can prove it.
sir, I don't. I
She's
cannot-
living a
I-
very, very good life.
She's living
She's
a very-
traveling, 5-star hotels, islands,
Martin, excuse me. We
restaurants.
both
I can prove this,
benefited
sir.
it
I can
because
prove
you
this,
came
sir.
here.
Her messenger,
Stop lying, huh?
what she
You
puts
can
on her
call
messenger,
sir.
sir.
We can call our first business owner. What happened behind the business? What's the lapses? What he did to me? Because sir, before him, sir, I have a late partner. I have a two.
Okay, now Heidi says she thinks that the expat is exaggerating. I agree on this one. I do agree. Yeah, there's you have to read between the lines. What?
But I think he lost all the shit, and now he's blaming
Mm, No, yeah. Heidi says since he lost everything, he's just blaming her. I believe that also. What I'm saying is neither of them are clean. Um, the reason why I say that is because remember when we first started the video, he said that she sold the businesses from underneath him. The reason why I say that is because that's what he said, and then she said that the first business went down while they were together, and they sold everything together. And what I'm getting at is normally when somebody says, oh, she sold all the businesses. When somebody says, oh, she sold all the businesses behind my back and she sold everything, versus somebody says, well, we had a business together, it failed, and then we sold everything away. And then what I'm saying is, the devil's in the details. A person who can segregate certain things, like, okay, this happened, this is what happened. However, after that, then she sold everything. Then there's more credibility to it. But when the person says, "Oh, she sold everything behind my back," then you're kind of like, "Oh, I see." You're leaving things out which are pertinent to the story, and like what he just said, and like Heidi just said, she said this a few times before the live, that he said that she's been staying in 5-star hotels. Then there's a little bit of exaggeration there, because that's weird. That's very weird. Yeah, I was gonna say that Heidi says, first off, there's not a bunch of them to begin with. No, no, no. There's nice hotels, but real 5-star hotels, that's kind of, and and if she did stay in a 5-star hotel, I tell you what, he will never forget the name of that hotel and will mention that hotel.
I might be sick.
You know what I'm saying?
Babe, tell him I might be sick, but my bullshit meter works.
Right. It's kind of like saying, like, oh, she ate at this 5-star restaurant. You know, oh, she eats at this 5-star restaurant a lot. No, a person would say, you know what that biatch did? She went to Salt Bay's restaurant, man. You know what I'm saying? If when somebody goes to an extreme
Well,
of spending, you will never forget the name of the locations.
and
You know what
he
I'm
said
saying?
he had
And they would prattle them on. Oh yeah, she went to this place, it went to this place.
they had
You know what I'm saying?
multi-restaurants or businesses, and somehow he has that kind of money, but he never opened up his own bank account, and he's just blaming her for everything. That was the other.
And that's another fair point. Saidi says, like, so he had so much money and yet he didn't have his own bank account. That doesn't make sense either, does it?
He stuffed it in the Philippines,
And if yeah, let's say he did have that money, which is, again, I'm not saying he can't have that money. Let's say he did have that money, which, again, I'm not doubting it, but what I'm saying is, don't you think it's kind of weirdly immature and irresponsible of you not to have your own bank account? I mean, that's very odd behavior from a responsible business owner. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird, right? Um, Victor Kogo says there's a bachelor party before his wedding. Can we interview the dancer entertainment for money ideas? There you go. Second one says Rafi lost the guy. Earn Doggy Full says one, he loses his 13A, who will be another tourist. Um, if he has his 13A, I mean, hopefully he did. I mean, he doesn't have his own bank account, so I don't know. Yeah, Victoria says good morning, Heidi, George, Chad, and crew. I was watching and listening earlier. Can they subpoena the back records? That they probably can, but I don't know if they will. But because usually here in the Philippines, the parties submit the records, and if you don't have the records ready for the judge or for the court, then that's on you. Um, Ronald says, check that other George. Oh, you mean the email? Check the email. What's a shinola, right? No, I usually, when Ronald says that, the email. I don't have my phone on me right now. 3 million was spent on a Ford Raptor and the wedding alone. That's half the money, huh? That's half the money. Shinola was a brand of shoe polish.
Hey, tell Rona thank you, and also everybody for their support. You know, it's been tough times with stuff going on that
Um, why is it? Oh yeah, yeah. Never mind. Um, yeah, Ronald, thank you so much. Thank you for your support, and the rest of you guys for our supporters, and thank you so much for your love and support and kindness. To my wife, thank you so much. I mean, it's really touching, and trust me, we do provide pretty much. We're pretty much open for those our supporters. They see the like I we normally send like updates on how it's spent, or like
they leave it mass
right, for
for
example, the
unless
bed, like the our supporters, they knew about the bed way before it was out on the live. Obviously, like same thing with prescriptions, that kind of stuff. Our doctor's appointments, whenever we show up, they get more pictures and videos that we don't show during the live, or they won't make it out on the live or a video. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
wouldn't be asking support of the channel
Yeah.
unless we really
Yeah, and again,
they should
we
know that. We've been doing this almost 6 years.
right, we've been doing this almost 6 years, and we
Rarely do
yeah,
we put out an SOS.
yeah, this is our first true SOS. Yes, I mean, again, and this is an extremely stupid, elaborate hoax if I've ever seen one. I
Well,
mean,
here's the thing. If I don't tell them, if I don't get the stents every day, my heart muscle is dying because of how narrow my
right, that's another thing.
every day I don't.
Yeah,
It's
every day that Heidi doesn't get the stents or the operation that she needs, the weaker her heart gets. That's the
heart muscle.
yeah, that's the explanation. The cardiologist told us that her heart is getting weaker and weaker, and right, right, the actual heart itself. And what it is, it's the medicine just helps her. Like, for example, the blood thinner, it just makes, for example, the blood a lot, so it'll flow better, so that way the heart doesn't have to pump as hard, that kind of stuff. They're kind of like band-aids, if that makes any sense. Right, they're not fixing anything.
Fighting the muscle
Right.
will die. So the stents keep the blood flow. Right now, there's little to no blood. Literally, that's the test. Tell them the test results are on that page, so it shows all of that. We provided proof.
Yeah, no,
We provided
we
proof.
that's another thing. We provide proofs and receipts, like, and we actual doctors says that she has a congestive heart failure, but you know what,
Coronary
you,
artery
you know she actually has the blood tests, like these are real. Yeah, so anyway, again, you can't convince people that are awake. Again, um Ted says you don't know the difference between poop and shoe polish. um Philippine says they bought a franchise, no money back if it fails. Well, that's how businesses are, you know. Segment says, tell Heidi, no comments from the peanut gallery.
Right? I might be sick, but most of the
Earn doggy fool, the law will side with local, just pack it up and don't think with your pecker next time. For the most part, unless there's irrefutable evidence. Yes, I do tend to agree on this one. For the most part, unless you have irrefutable evidence, yes. Philippine says he lived on that money. Again, like it. Well, again, it's no different than being in the U.S. If you're with in the U.S., whether you're whatever nationality or race you are, and whatever nationality or race you're with. If your marriage breaks up and the other partner takes all your money, that's kind of like, well, we'll see what happens. Second one says kissing cousins. It's like Alabama, right? Oh, that's my cousin. I want to hear what the wife have to say. They keep cutting her off through the whole show. Well, here's the thing. I think. Well, first off, this is edited, and it was edited before it was being edited. And what I'm saying is, I'm pretty sure before they edited it out that she's been nonstop rambling, and so they have to keep muting her. So because it's too instantaneous. So what I'm saying is, obviously, she's been nonstop babbling, and therefore they had to like mute her. My opinion, ex-wives are exes for a reason. Well, all exes, yeah, they're all exes for a reason. That's my favorite line. Well, she's an ex for a reason. Bet she babbles again. Yeah, no, she does it nonstop. Yeah. Philippine says I'm leaning towards the wife. He lived on that money, bought a 2.5 million failed franchises in a property rent or lease. Like I said, I don't believe that neither of them are clean. They have their sides. But right, that's right. The 2.5 million truck is almost half the money already. He's full of it. The guy is Scottish. That's what Victoria says. Money can't buy love. Second one says yes, money can buy love. Well, correction. Yes, money can buy love for as long as there's money. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Um, Victoria says don't have money from him. Um, Simon says I have a late partner. He's helping, meaning he's poking the bear. Ronald says she doesn't look gay. Oh damn. Earn Doggyful says 5 Clam Hotel. There you go. Second one says Model 6. We'll leave the light on for you. Simon says, how did he transfer it then? Well, I guess the correction would be he didn't have a Philippine bank account, I guess. But obviously the money isn't there because, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what, I mean, I don't know who, I mean, I get the shared bank account. Like, Heidi and I have a shared bank account, but she still has her own bank account, and I still have my own bank account, and but you know, yeah, and the money is fluid, meaning, if she wants what's in my bank account, she's welcome to it, and if I'm welcome to her, if I need, yeah, but we s- we still have our own bank accounts. I say accounts on mine because I have the YouTube account separate from my personal account because the YouTube account is a business account, right? And yeah, and Heidi has her social security account and her own personal account, right? But what I'm saying is you still need your own account regardless of whether you guys share it or not, you know and yeah, and it's smarter anyway that way. I mean, it doesn't make sense to put all your eggs in one basket, right? Oh, hey, Sarah. Yeah, Heidi says hi. Big time 911 says SRRV military. Way to go. There you go. Yeah, yeah, of course. Not all of us are military. Um, Victoria says I'm up early because I'm booked in to get 4 new tires, probably a spare two. Oh, wow. Yeah, tires are expensive. Yes. Ronald says you don't have to explain anything. I'm sure the majority of people help because they want. Oh, thank you, thank you. Not that we appreciate the health updates. Yeah, yes,
The
yeah,
ones that are bitching and on the troll channels, they were just there to bitch and they weren't gonna help anyway, so we're fine with that.
yeah.
We're just happy to have the prayer.
Hey, Sarah.
The support's been the biggest thing, people praying and stuff.
Yeah, the support's the biggest thing, and people praying. Yeah, and no, unfortunately, I know I have to do a stopgap. What it is the mics, believe it or not, do a really good job of filtering out um noise and whatever. So the only way you guys can hear Heidi clearly if she's literally sitting right here.
No, we were gonna pull the
Yeah.
table over here and have you sit, but we'll do it the next time.
Yeah, we'll do it next time. Yeah, we'll do it next time.
Yeah, just responding.
I'm jam no jam not asleep. Jam not asleep. 9511. I mix honey with cayenne and take it. Lost in the Philippines says much love, Heidi and George. Oh dang! Joseph Lloyd says this guy is a special kind of stupid.
Yeah, to lose that kind of money, yeah. I agree.
Well, the punani can't be that good, right? Just saying.
For that kind of money, I'd be using my hands, my socks, and the neighbor's socks.
Heidi says for that kind of money, she'd be using her hands, the socks, and the neighbor's hands and the neighbor's socks
And the cats.
and the cats. No. Anyway, um, second win says Rafi, my kissing cousin, is helping me sell the businesses, so he gets a cut and a poke. Oh dang. Oh dang. Aaron Doggyful says she ain't gay, but 20 bucks is 20 bucks.
I thought she was gay.
Yes, there it is. Harry Walsh says money can buy love, short time. There it is. Joseph Lloyd says, get well, Heidi. 7 eggs for breakfast says 7 million pesos is crazy. Yes, it is.
Let me see about that. Sorry. He didn't do nothing he didn't want to do. Man, I'm stubborn.
Lost in the Philippines says, I'm a card carrying Democrat that loves Obama and oh, I see. I also donated $25 to Heidi. Do any of you Trumpers have the balls to match my donation? There you go. Thank you so much, Lost in the Philippines. Appreciate your support. We love you, man.
The minutes went from 100 a month to over 300. And that's for 6
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Yes.
Free specialists and
Yeah, Heidi's meds went from 100 to 300. Not only that, because of the gas issue, meds are hard to get. And we're, yeah, and also since they're harder to get, the cheaper brands are even harder to get because you guys have to remember Heidi's not alone. What I'm saying is there's a lot of people with similar conditions, so they're kind of in a panic too, and they're buying up the meds. So it's yeah, yeah. Without the meds, Heidi will definitely go. Yeah, I mean it's just a fact. I even told the pharmacist. I said if meds. Oh, got disconnected. Yeah. So yeah, so I even told the pharmacist that if we no, yeah, if we don't get those meds, my wife will well, I did say she will go. I did tell her that. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah.
which is he is a police because so to survive sir to survive that's why we survive now. We have our kids has a lump sum and has a pension every month, so that's why we survive now, and I have a job right now. He claimed it that's because he sold in my social media. He claimed that's his from his money, and then many girls or Filipinos messaged me, and they chatted on me that they said I scammed my husband, and then after I took the money I enjoy it, but that's not true, sir. I have papers here to prove that we have money from the government. That's big. That's almost 2M, but it's not his money. I cannot give this money because that's for my kids. This is for my minors.
Did you buy a house and lot back in 2020 using the money of Mr. Forbes?
No, 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 Sir Senator. We can do.
So
Please help me
where did the money come from? The house, the property, the house and lot that you bought in 2020.
I did not bought a house and lot, sir, Senator. I did not bought a house and lot. We can do checks, sir, so that to prove I'm 100%, I'm being honest, sir. And we can do the lie detector. You can please do lie detector, Martin. Did you do this to me? Why are you lying in front of Sir Senator, ha? And sir, before that, please call our franchisor owner to prove that what happened behind.
And I got it. Well, what would you recommend to solve this problem for both of them?
Yes, she's still at it. Now, okay. The thing is yes, there's government programs that will, that will support, whatnot on said things. For example, like she's claiming due to her kid's condition that the government gave her grant money to take care of the child. That's not a The Philippine government, to be honest with you, is more generous than a lot of people realize. Again, they'll give housing, they'll give houses to the poor and so that kind of stuff. They do have rare occasionally, but sometimes they do give money to people in need. So I'm not saying that this never happens because it does happen. But the thing is, I'm not quite sure whether it's kind of like this. It's what's the I'm trying to figure out a word here. I guess irresponsible. I guess would be a better word. I mean, or careless. What I'm saying is, if I'm going to go in front of a hearing, I mean, I know this is not a legitimate hearing. It is a hearing, but it's not a legally facilitated hearing. But it's still a hearing nonetheless. I would get all my ducks in a row, get all my paperwork, get bank statements, your paperwork regarding like like and say something like, "Oh, that money? No, no. Here's a legal document from the government that I got this grant money for X and X and X." That kind of stuff. Um, you know what I'm saying? And like say the house. No, we never got a house. We're living in a rental property. This is, what I'm saying is she's not very good at defending herself, I guess is what I'm saying. Again, that doesn't mean she is guilty or not guilty. She's just not very good at countering questions. So instead of, what I'm saying? So if somebody says a house, we never bought a house. We're renting right now. I have a lease agreement. You're welcome to see it. That kind of deal. Let's say if she didn't have the lease agreement in her possession, she would at least say, "Oh, no, this is a rental. Here, I could furnish you a lease agreement if you wish." That kind of deal. So I know it looks bad on her part, but that's where it looks bad on her part. So again, I don't know. Right. She's a wreck. She's a wreck. She's nervous. Correct. That's what Heidi says. She's nervous. No, she's a wreck in front of the camera, and that's why I kind of tend to. Again, I don't usually judge my perspective of a person due to their behavior, but this is an extreme case where it's consistently panic mode, which means she's completely unprepared. She's completely unhinged. Again, I said earlier in this live, I said, seems like she got caught with her pants down, that kind of deal. Like, like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What I'm going to, you know what I mean? Even if you're clean, even if you're innocent, if you behave that way, you look guilty. That's what I'm saying. But again, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
20,000 per million, give or take. And it reminded me exchange just at 60. But it's good and bad. 20,000 per million.
Second one says, "We hear Heidi. She is loud." Oh, and that's with a mask on. She has a mask. She has, she has a breathing mask. Okay, the cannula is she has two types. Oh, this is another mask. This another mask. The reasons why we have spares is because sometimes the cats get a hold of them and they poke holes to them and they wear out. Yeah, right. The cannula is it it's more uncomfortable because it dries out your it goes straight through and dries out your sinuses. The mask is more comfortable, but of course the mask, however, it muffles you, and also if you want to drink, you have to take it off. If you want to eat, you have to take it off. That kind of deal. So it's kind of like pluses and minuses. Obviously, during the live, she can't wear the mask, even though it's more comfortable because she'll be muffled. Yeah. So what is that?
That's the one for like 900 pesos.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And it folds up.
Yeah. Victoria says, yeah, so he's married to her, so why can't he get his own bank account? Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't make sense. Um, Philippine says, how long did he think he could live on 7 million? Philippines, I could spend 3 million a year myself and I don't invest. Okay, first off, yeah, no. I agree with you. I agree with you. What I was saying is, first off, don't invest in a restaurant. The probability of success in a restaurant, it's 20%, guys. 20%. You have a 20% chance of your restaurant surviving, and that's with competent people. Competent staff, 20%. So that's a poor investment. Again, I've been offered a job in the US to become a restaurant manager, and it was a really, really good pay. And it was my friend who asked, like, do you want it? I said no. No. Uh-uh. Anybody who's been in the real restaurant business knows what I'm talking about. A bar has a better chance of surviving than a restaurant. Just saying. Not a resto bar. That's still a restaurant. But no. Earn Doggy Full says, I lost my balls in the Philippines too. All right. Second man says, I never got balls when I was in the Philippines. 7 eggs for breakfast, $300 for medicine. Oh no. No. It's a good chunk. It's a good chunk. And if you don't get that medicine on heart medication, you're pretty much good as toast.
I probably could even do without the heart medicine and water pills.
Segment says, stop clicking buttons, George. I get 2 million from the government. Can you? Well, you as a foreigner, no, but as a Filipino, yes. And it's kind of like the best way to describe it is like Section 8, and that's another myth. A lot of people think Section 8 is Section 8. Okay, it's government housing in the U.S. And a lot of people, I hear people say it casually. I just don't interrupt, or I just shut up because again, it's hard to wake up people who don't know. Oh, why don't you just go get government housing? Because they're like, because you overhear friends say, I'm about to get homeless, yada yada yada, and then you have a friend that says, oh, why don't you just go get government housing? You'll be okay. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You'll be out on the street and probably be dead by then. By the time you get approved for government housing, because the well, I don't know if it still exists now, but when I was in the U.S. probably about 15 years ago, and I'm saying 15 years ago. I'm not. What I'm saying is during that time, it was a 3 or 4 year wait period to before you get your turn, and that was 15 years ago. So now I don't know that I don't know the waiting list could be 20 years long. I don't know, but I remember 15 years ago it was already at 3 or 4 years time before you get before your file gets to be seen. You're on that waiting list. You know what I'm saying? And then they're like, okay, yes or no. Oh, no, it's bad. It's bad. So what I'm saying, same thing here in the Philippines. Um, like said, a lot of Filipinos here get government housing here, free housing, whatever. You get it, but you have to go on a long waiting list. Same thing with the grants for children and stuff. But I mean, obviously for the children, it's a little different. You know, it's a little shorter, but you know what I mean. Lost in Philippines says again, I'm a hardcore dem and will suck it up and post praise for Trump for every donation made and the rest of this life. Who has the balls to donate? Yeah, thank you so much, Lost in the Philippines. Appreciate you. Um, Victoria, silly woman, he funded everything.
Hey, babe, I'm giving away free gas.
Heidi says she's giving away free gas, and she does. She gives away free gas a lot.
Like,
I'm not gonna lie, she does.
I can't help it.
The funny thing is, she waits for me sometimes to leave the room. Not like I can't hear it, but
I can't help it between us. I make it.
7 eggs for breakfast says that's over 100,000 US dollars. Jesus, yes, it's 140. Yeah, 140,000. Second Wind Resort says it's Jerry Springer Philippine style. Right? Radar says maybe you guys can help mediate recouping his 50-50, then collect a percentage for your services, right? True story, right? Roger Walker says $100 just sent. Thank you so much, Roger. Appreciate you so much. We appreciate every help we can get. Let's call.
Put the scan thing out, it'll let them see all the paperwork and the full story. So even if they don't donate, it's still a story. The GoFundMe page was meant for the story, the proof, and anybody who wants to learn more or support it.
Right.
So you can put the bar, you know how to do that.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
Just tell them that's the story, and they can take a look.
Well, okay. Here's another thing. Let's call the first franchise person. He will tell you he talked about me. She keeps bringing that up, which kind of tells me that that seems like a biased person. Thank you again so much, Roger Walker. Appreciate you so much. Again, that is an immense help. Thank you so much. It is a lot of help. So yeah, again,
Tell them that way you don't have to go on
right? I don't. I yeah. Thank you, Roger Walker. You just saved me from going down Walker Street and working the alleyways. Dang it! There goes my opportunity. All right. Someone says, "Lol, pants down." It's oxymoron, right?
They charge $100 worth of oil and numbing.
Radar says she's nervous. He may be exaggerating, but she owes something. Yes, yes. Yeah. Again, he is exaggerating, but again, both parties, are not innocent. Yes. Um. Simon says, and you have to keep the mask clean. Yes, yes. And eventually, yeah. I mean, they'll. I mean, the tubes, even the tubes, you can't. You will have to replace the tube too. Yes. Actually, we just replaced the filter for the machine yesterday. Yeah, we have to replace the filter, obviously. I mean, otherwise she'll. Actually, I don't. Did it shut down? Did the machine shut down? Oh, it just kept yelling at you to change the. Yeah, the machine yells at you to change the filter, and it's really loud. It's like, please change the filter, really loud. Please change the filter. Yeah, no, that's literally what it says. It says, please change the filter. Yeah. 19.8999% says AI says if I ask AI. There you go.
Yes, again, Senator, I think they should enter into a project of partition wherein they divide the conjugal property in the course of getting an annulment. In that process, Senator, they will have to prove what they already own,
Okay.
and they will just usually divide that according to its value, straight down the middle, 50-50.
We should do it in. They should do it in court or in barangay. I don't know. A public attorney's office in front of an attorney.
Yes, pending the annulment case, Senator, they can actually enter into a private agreement wherein possibly the proceeds from any of the businesses is divided amongst the two of them according to their agreement. That can happen even before any annulment happens. For example, they own multiple businesses. Certain businesses would redound to the benefit of our complainant, while some businesses would.
Okay. Now the problem with this, okay, is they're talking about liquidation, and first off, judging from him and judging from her, from their interactions, neither of them have concrete numbers or figures. Like, if you're a business owner, you have to be like insanely meticulous with your paperwork. You have to have ledgers and everything. For example, like right now for our YouTube, we have ledgers. We have ledgers. We have everything. Yeah. Now, correct. The the only thing that the YouTube thing is, for example, the receipts and everything. Now you have to go whether or not you throw that away or you keep it. What I'm saying is it depends on the business. For YouTube, for example, we can do the we can save all the receipts from all our expenses. However, due to the nature of the business, they'll complicate things and it'll basically in the end it's not worth it. And so either you claim it or you don't. If you claim it, obviously it'll work in your favor. However, in the end, if you don't claim it, it won't work on your favor. However, you don't have the headache, if that makes any sense. I'm talking about YouTube right now. So what I'm saying is, but if your business is a restaurant business, you have to keep meticulous records and receipts of everything. These two guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out these guys ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? These are not meticulous people. These people don't have documentation. These are not the documentation type people. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, when before I met Heidi, I have boxes and boxes of receipts. I don't know if Heidi saw these or whether or not I claim them or not. I had boxes and boxes. I still kind of have that old habit of saving receipts. In fact, I have receipts somewhere here. But point being, it's ingrained in you, and that kind of deal I don't see in these guys. And now the problem is with this liquidation stuff and separation of assets. First off, the money that's not tied to an asset is gone. And what I'm saying is, any money that's floating around the bank, they might as well kiss that goodbye because they don't have documentation on who spent it and who didn't because it's all under her name. Therefore, even when he was with her, it's still in her name on his behalf. Get it? So whatever she spent, it becomes indistinguishable when he was with her. All they can prove is money that was spent after they were separated. And at that point in time, and then the liquidation, same thing. Again, these are not the kind of people who, like, for example, when they liquidated the business, if they took down, let's say, a flat screen TV that's on the flat screen TVs around their restaurants that they use for menus or entertainment of the guests or whatnot, she could have just sold those piecemeal and never got a single receipt. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. This is a mitigation nightmare. That's what I'm getting at. So you might as well kiss all of that goodbye. I'm just saying, it's hard to prove.
Okay, so probably they can do that in Cebu, in front of the barangay chairman, and
Yes, yes, that's
yeah.
the
Okay. Notice he said barangay. So remember what I told you? Unless it's clearly criminal, aka breaking in into a store and then robbing the place, or unless it's somebody like, pew pewed somebody, you know, the police doesn't get involved. So in these cases, it's a civil case, as they were saying in the U.S. You go to the barangay.
Meets me in the middle, Senator. I
Yeah.
will meet her in the middle. I don't
Okay.
want. She has kids, sir. Obviously, I accept them as my own. I still love them. I don't want to be unfair here, sir, but I want what is mine, sir. I think that is fair.
We're gonna accompany him, Mr. Forbes, to Cebu, and the both of you, in front of your barangay chairman, and which will also be witnessed by a lawyer, and whatever agreement you can come up with, then that should be the one which will be implemented, and particularly splitting whatever property is left, then split it in half, 50-50. That's exactly what Mr. Forbes wants to happen. Chairman Ruben
Yeah.
Patigdas, good afternoon to you, sir. So we're going to accompany him to your office and do an investigation and
Yeah, yes, sir.
find out who's telling the truth and how the barangay can help both of them square,
Yeah, yes, sir,
square out
yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes,
this
sir.
issue, their issue between.
Yeah, yes, Senator. Yes, Senator. We try to investigate about the whole story.
Okay. Can we do that next week? We're going to come by your office, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday next week.
Anytime, Idol, Senator.
Right now, where do you stay?
With a family that has basically given me shelter, sir.
Here in Manila?
La Union, sir.
In La Union. So you mean after this show, you're going to go back to La Union?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. If you want to stay here in Manila, I can book you in a hotel
That would be
until
very
such
kind of
time
you,
the
sir.
Tuesday, when you're ready to go to Cebu, I will get you a plane ticket. Going
That
to
would
Cebu.
be very kind of you, Senator.
No problem. Okay.
Sir, we will help you, sir, and we will help you with your stay here in Manila, and while waiting for your plane ticket.
Okay, so that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna basically, well, he's gonna stay in a hotel up until his, you know, hearing in at the barangay hall. I guess that's what they're gonna do, and then I guess they'll give an update later on. So that's what's going on. Now, also another thing you guys have to consider is, again, this is all alleged on both sides. Um, and again, both people, I mean, he obviously presented himself better, but remember, he's the, what do you call it? The prosecuting case in this matter, and the defendant has to defend, which is a harder stance. And again, that's probably why she's behaving the way she is. It's a lot harder when you're on the hot seat, if that makes any sense, and somebody accusing you of stuff. And also another thing is, you guys have to realize, I understand that I said earlier that watch out if you're an expat or if your friend is an expat. Pay attention to the people around him, her, that cousin, that brother may not be a brother or a cousin. You know what I'm saying? In all fairness, too, we don't know his side. He may have a kabit from the get go. He may not. He may have someone right now. He may not. We don't know his side either. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is, again, either way, both sides, again, they're not innocent by any means. Anybody can clearly see that from their behavior. Simon says we should start a go mail bar, George, on Red Street. We can hire all male vloggers. Oh my gosh. Wow. Second one says Section 8 still exists. We can call our go-go's our tubers, right? No, you know what? If I were to open um a male strip club, I would call it the meat tube. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I would call it. Victoria says waiting period in Australia for government housing is also a very long time too, some 10 to 15 years, especially as more people need it. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like I said, 15 years ago it was 3 to 4 years. Now I can imagine it's probably about 15 or 20 years. But again, I don't know. I haven't, you know. Ronald says, "Oh my God, you guys somehow surprised she doesn't blame the cats for farting."
I do.
She does.
Yeah, two of the meds have gastro issues, which I'm trying to figure that out, like side effects of
Heidi's saying that it's side effects of the meds. Samuel says, by the way, I scammed Ted out of a hamburger, fries, and a Dr. Pepper. He didn't get my any nookie. There you go. Good for him. Ronald Holland says, I think Queensland area had some bad weather, Victoria. I was watching ABC yesterday. Saw typhoon rain. Lost in the Philippines says, hey, Heidi got a donation. I'm a man of my word. As a Democrat, I will humiliate myself and say I love Trump. May he be president for life. There you go. Heidi says there's always something to love about anybody. Ronald Higgins says don't push it, lost lol, not for life. Um, Ted says second win. How do you think you got the hamburger? Simon says he got roofied. Um, Lost in the Philippines says if Heidi gets enough donations, a hardcore Democrat, I will call for Trump to be anointed king. There you go.
I get the donations, I'm going to a five-star hotel. Something I'm joking about that.
Victoria says they had cyclone, a typhoon or cyclone far north of Queensland and west of Australia. Glad you're safe. I watch their news sometimes in Gem TV. Um, Saywin says this, my friends, is why you work hard on finding a good woman and not one online for LDR. Correct. Okay, good question. Does Rafi ever do updates on these cases? I would say, well, probably, I would say probably 20%. Most of the time he doesn't. 20% of the time he does. He might on this one, might, but most of the time he doesn't.
I think at the end it did say stay tuned or something, because he's giving him a hotel.
Yeah. Simon says, bet he gets a 5-star hotel in first class, right? Simon says, allegedly George fell down the stairs. Thanks, man.
Still can happen. Not that. My legs still work a little.
Simon says, watch out for the Filipino network, right? Ronald Holland says, keep it in your pants and do your homework. Don't think with the wrong head. There you go. Oh dang! Radar says, only tubers, only meat. That's a good one. I like that one. Spur World says checking in from the Pata Antique. All right. Harry Walsh says the waiting list for government housing in the U.S. are 5 to 6 years long. Okay, so they still within that time period. They just went up a little bit. Like I said, it used to be 3 to 4 years. So, Harry says right now it's 5 to 6 years. Some areas have closed the list. Um, no, I'm trying to remember if I've heard some areas closing the list. I don't remember hearing that again that long ago, 15 years ago. The reason why I say that long ago, because hold on. No. Because the reason being is because I'm trying to listen to what other people say during that time, and I don't remember anybody talking
I
about.
volunteered for Habitat for Humanity at the thrift store, and people would apply for housing there. And for that, 5, 6 years ago, there was a long wait.
Yeah, Heidi says yeah when she volunteered for Habitat for
Yeah,
Society.
home.
Yeah, the same thing. The list is no, it's long, and that's what I heard. The reason why I'm familiar with it because I know of people who like are going through hard times, and then I ask them like because I ask them like, well, what about Section 8? Why don't you apply for that? And then that's how I found out it's really bad. Yeah. So
Now, a lot of people
someone says we can sell hot dogs with mayonnaise only. Oh, okay. Also brats and call them girth dogs. Roger Walker, peso to US is 60.15. Yes, yes.
chicken butt sandwiches with barbecue.
Yes. I was yeah, when I was at the bank I saw that, but I didn't take a picture because I thought it was kind of weird taking a picture inside a bank. So I didn't take the picture. Because they have a sign that says buying, selling, buy on because they do obviously it's a bank, they do money changes. But I didn't take the picture because I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't. I mean, I know everybody knows me. In fact, they know me so well. It's kind of sad that they know my account number better than I do. They're like, sir, that's not a six, that's a zero. I'm like, I said, you guys know my own account number better than I do. Simon says, George, on a serious note, could you ask the Philippine government? No, no, for two reasons. One, she's an expat. I can't ask for her behalf because in order to get these type of coverage, you have to be a Filipino. Well, that's the second one too. Two, her condition is
Talking about Phil Health.
no. Well, government grant for medical.
No, but the best thing we can do now is when we have the money, because we can't enter the hospital.
No,
the
yeah, yeah.
testing or the stents till we have 30 to 40. But we apply for Phil Health within a few days, they'll cover.
Well, yeah, when we have the money, then we can apply for Phil Health, and then
They'll
because
cover-
what happens is
they'll cover a $500,000 only on the heart.
yeah
Not
they'll cover 500,000 pesos
one item.
on the heart issue, but you know but you have to have the money. What I'm saying is you have to have the money ready for the operation before we get to that step, if that makes any sense.
It's 80 or
Right.
90,000 pesos to run the wire to my heart to see how blocked and how many stents. But you have to be ready because the dye is back on my heart, so you can't do one without the other.
Right.
I'll have to stay in the hospital for a day or two.
Yeah, it's Heidi's on she's on a hard teeter, as I call it, because like I said, like even if like she has to recover enough to survive the operation first.
Which we're doing now.
Yeah, which we're
Instead
doing
of
now.
entering the hospital, we need-
Second, we don't have the money for the operation either. And no, the government will cover it because this is a very common condition. I mean, Heidi's not alone in this. So, no, that there's a lot of sick people, and it's one thing investing on the elderly, and it's one thing investing on the children. I'm talking about.
They don't have a lot of grants for this.
That's what I'm saying. Even if they did, well, they do, but not for the elderly. Mostly, it's for the kids because it's same thing in the U.S. It's they'll you know perform an operation more on a child versus right. Correct. Yeah, like that. For example, a heart transplant, they'll do it on a child before they'll do it on an elderly. Fact.
So you won't even put me on the list
Right.
because
She
of
won't
my
even make it on the
my
list.
lupus because
Right.
it's not autoimmune. They know it's a waste of time.
Well, even if you're not on the even if you're don't have lupus, if you're an elderly, you're pretty much screwed when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm just saying. I mean, it's facts. You know. Um. Yeah, Radar says white queso stuffed hot dogs. Oh, those sounds good. Simon says George is scoping out the bank to right. Right, that's why I didn't take a picture. Right, because it's kind of like sus, even though they don't know me. You know what I mean? Um, 7X for breakfast. Commercial during live stream. Really? YouTube? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah, they.
Got really bad about a year ago.
No, no. YouTube gets, and back then you only get ads if you're monetized. Now, whether you're monetized or not, they throw ads left and right, like no tomorrow. Yeah, like making it rain no tomorrow. Yeah, I mean seriously, it's insane. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Simon says, understand just a thought. No, no, no. It's a fair question. It really is. But that's another thing a lot of people don't realize. I'm not talking about you, Simon. I'm talking about like same thing in the U.S. It's no different.
A lot of people.
A lot of people think you step foot in the U.S. as long as you have Medicare or Medicaid, you're covered. No, no, that's not how it works. And especially if you're an elderly, you know what I mean. You're pretty much in the back burner and you're on your own. You know what I'm saying? A child is one thing. Like I said, she's talking about her kids in the video. That's what Second Window was talking about. For those of you who didn't see it, she got a 2 million peso to take care of her kids. It was like a grant from the government to take care of her kids because of a special condition. She said it, but she said it too fast, and honestly, it's not really related to the subject because that 2 million is not really has nothing to do with her relationship with the expat. So anyway,
Yeah, it's which means like commercials doing live streams.
right,
YouTube, hell yeah, it is.
right.
These motherfuckers. They're-
Oh, my friend says, Delta Force forever, right? Chuck Norris and his never-ending bullets. There you go. Delta Force, yeah.
he's 86 on the boat.
Yeah, he's 86, guys. I mean, he was 86. So yeah, he's. I mean, it was bound to happen. I mean, joking aside, bound to happen. Scott says I'm worried about Keith Richards now.
Ah, shit.
Right?
Like a
Keith
Jagger.
Keith Richards is next. No, Victoria, they're not his biological kids because he says,
Yeah.
I love the kids. I treat them as my own. That's what he said. So no, I don't think they're his.
You know, they just got together in 2022.
Yeah. Yeah, they're yeah. No, he said he treated them like they are his. Yes. That's what he said, yes. But which is nice. And you know, and the kids should never be like, part of the I mean, you guys could hate your ex or your ex could hate you, but you should never use your kids as leverage or that kind of stuff.
I hate the ex.
Don't
I
use them
hate
as
the
tools. Don't
kids,
use
I
them as
hate the
pawns.
pet.
Yeah. So hey, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna repeat that. Anyway. Oh my gosh. So Heidi's eating these. They're insane. They're dry fruit. They're peaches. But oh my gosh, they
They don't
are
have any sugar, yeah.
so good. They're dried fruit.
They're like
They're
fruit
peaches.
leather almost.
Oh my gosh,
They're
they're insanely good. They almost taste like gummy. Well, they don't taste exactly like gummy bears, but that's a good comparison. Oh my gosh, they're so good. They're insanely good.
yeah, because my stomach's always upset now when
Yeah.
so many things. It's the what's the thing that's depressing?
Ronald says another reason he should have thought twice.
Uh, Shit happens in the Philippines.
Well, it happens anywhere, and it happens to the best of us. Yes.
Now you can move on to the gas topic. They're about ready to make diesel 130 a gallon.
Yeah. Heidi says they're about to make diesel about 130. When I gassed up, it was at where was it at?
You're gonna start walking.
110, I think.
You're gonna start taking it easy.
This was when did I take this picture? I mean, obviously I don't gas up every day.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah,
Wait, was it?
but
Oh yeah, it wasn't yesterday. It was the day before. Yeah, it's see it?
Yeah, I put that on there.
Yeah. So yeah, no. No, it's insane. So yeah, that's the gas price. Oh yeah, and that's another thing.
I mean,
I know somebody in our room said something like, "Oh, nobody complains about it." Are you kidding me right now? You know what? I'm not joking. Like, so I was listening to the radio. It wasn't my radio because, well, I do listen to the radio, but and sometimes the news comes up. I mean, of course, and it's like kind of like the U.S. You know, the news isn't always on when you're driving. So anyway,
diesel on Tuesday will cost $8.26 a gallon.
diesel on Tuesday will cost $8
And 26 cents.
and 26 cents a gallon.
At the American exchange of 60.
Okay.
That's insane.
At six, yeah, that's at
How do you
$60. Yeah,
expect the Filipino
60
that's making
60 pesos per dollar.
12 hours a day, and if they make less than $10 a day profit for 12 hours work. That's a couple dollars an hour to be in that traffic. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And now gas is
Yeah, what Heidi's saying
25.
is the Jeeps run on diesel most of the time, and I say most of the time because there's still some old gas guzzlers out there, literally, but most of them are diesel, and they have to pay this gas. Um, like I said, um, like for instance, the grab driver before the gas hike, he took home 1,000 pesos a day. Now he only takes home 500. He says because of the gas. Um, and again, like I said, on the both times I listened to the radio, I mean, all they talked about was gas, 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 and like there's you know how the news on the radio is on segments, kind of like on TV. Um, they have segments, but it was like gas, and then after this first segment, it was over gas, and then after the third segment, it was over gas, and then he goes like, and now let's talk to a lighter side. We'll talk about the Senate. And I was like, oh my God, thank God, something not about gas. In the Senate, in the hearing about the gas, like, it's like even this they were talking about the Senate, it's still about gas. And both times I listened to the radio on on the news, it was nothing about gas. And guess what? Even the people, all I hear now is gas.
Okay, how bad it is?
It's bad, guys. It's bad.
Minimum wage is now equal to a gallon of gas. That's almost at 500 pesos for 3.75. So right now the minimum wage is at 500 or 600.
Yeah.
It's almost equaling to 1 gallon, and they run on a full tank a day. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah, 1 gallon. Yeah, 1 gallon is a day's wages. Yes. So that's insane. That's insane.
Same people getting in line for 600 pesos.
It's insane. I'm telling you that right now. It's insane. And yeah, it will affect the world again.
Prices, but the prices are on the rise, so it does affect expats, and they claim by July or August we're going to start running out of product. And they're slowly leaking. Product will disappear. Everything's affected.
No, no, no. Everything is affected. Yeah, the supply chain is disrupted because remember, everything runs on oil. Everything.
Rolling power outages.
The modern civilization relies on oil for everything. Everything. Nothing can be done without oil. Period. The end. There, it's not an if or a but. It's reality. That's why again. Well, I'm not. Anyway, I'm not gonna go farther than that. Simon says, like my ex biatch did to my biological daughter. No, no, no. A lot of people, male or female, use their kids as pawns in their relationship with their ex. Yes, and I'm completely against that. Which again, just real quick. Anyway, yeah. Sanguine says, don't take marriage advice from the guy who won the fourth wife, right? Rob Marie says, good day. Sanguine says, save some gas for me. I get back on the fourth if all goes well, right? Um, I heard okay. I heard they started banning those loud exhaust pipes on scooters nationwide. It's gonna be quiet now. Well, first off, they were never legal.
No.
However, back then they give you a ticket. Okay. Now they change their tactics. It's kind of like this. So back then they pull you over. Well, they don't pull you over. They go like this. And if you don't do that, then they have motorcycle cops on standby further down the road, and then they'll intercept you. Or they'll run and grab the handlebar and take out your keys. Now, well, and then if you get pulled over, then they write you a ticket. Usually, it's like a 500 peso fine on average, up to 1,000 pesos, something like that. And then now, what they do is they pull you over. If you have those loud exhaust pipes, they disassemble it from your bike, and then they'll let you go. So yes, so that's equally bad. Some of you say, well, then wouldn't it be louder? Yes, it will, but you'll learn your lesson, because guess what? That destroys your car, your motorcycle engine, because it ruins compression. It'll burn up the valves. That is if you're educated enough to know that. What I'm saying is, but a lot of these guys don't know that and drive around without the exhaust, like it was okay. It's not. You'll burn up your valves. So anyway, bottom line, now it's like a zero tolerance policy. They'll just yank those exhaust pipes out. So whether you like it or not, your loud exhaust pipe is gone. That's the difference. They've always been illegal, but now they're doing drastic measures to do something about it. Um, Salman says, dude, a county in California is wanting to make minimum wage $30 an hour. I forget what county. I honestly don't know either. Benny says, sorry to say, but that Filipina that was on Rafi 2 for recently knew exactly what she was doing, and Martin had no idea what her plans were. What an expensive lesson for him to learn. Be very careful, guys. Okay, now see, that's the part of the accountability that a lot of the people in the chat's been talking about. Thank you again, chat, and thank you again for this comment. Is again, I say alleged because remember, it's still a he says she says, but again, from the looks of it, it looks like she knew what she was doing. Um, it looks like it was planned. I said looks. I mean, again, I don't know. We don't know, but no, it seems that way. Yes, I agree with you. However, like I said, it's no different in the U.S. Um, Here's the thing: if you just replace her with a Caucasian woman, or not necessarily Caucasian woman, I mean, any nationality, if this happened in the U.S., the same thing would have happened to the guy. I mean, it's just that's who he is. I mean, I get the very trusting thing, but you have to remember there's a boundary between trust and just plain stupid. That's just stupid. I mean, if, for example, let's say Heidi, let's say, even back then, trust me, when early in our relationship, Heidi had access to my money, and guess what? If she cleaned me out, guess whose fault it is? It's mine. Fact. But Heidi had access to my money back then, right? And she wouldn't even say, "Hey, babe, I want to get this." I said, "Sure, no problem." But what I'm saying is, if we broke up and she took off with all my money, guess what? I only have myself to blame, and that's accountability, right? Oh yeah, that's another thing. They're allegedly or having a, well, that's not alleged. It's really a thing. Like the jeepney drivers are on strike or something. For the lack of increase in pay or whatever. But the problem is, is you still have, well, it's not a problem. It's a problem for on their side. There will always be jeepneys that will be there to ferry people around, whether there's a strike or not, because in the end, it's save your own skin kind of mentality. What I'm saying is, in a factory, whenever like a factory goes on strike, there's always those people that go to work even though they're on strike. The same thing with jeepney drivers. Even if the jeepney drivers are on strike, there's always these jeepney drivers that will still go to work. And I get it. They have families to feed, they have bills to pay. And of course, I get it. But of course, that, kind of makes them hated among their peers. But you guys get the picture. So they're still out there. It's not as thick, but they're still out there. Simon says now they're saying they'll enforce the helmet law that was put into. Okay, the problem with the helmet law, they should all you're supposed to wear a helmet if you're driving on a non three-wheeled vehicle, um, or more. So if you're on a two-wheeled vehicle, you're supposed to be wearing a helmet, whether it's be a bicycle or a motorcycle or an e-bike. Enforcement of that is a different story. The old fine, I said old fine. It used to be 500 pesos. I don't know if they jacked it up. I don't know if they changed it. Last time I checked, it was 500 pesos, but that was months ago. Um, they do enforce it, and that's what they usually do the stops for. Is they put random. If you go to Red Street and Walking Street, you guys will see this all the time. Right when you pass Abacan Bridge, it's when you're entering Balibago. There's usually in front of that church, right across the bridge. That's when they usually have these random checkpoint. They call them checkpoints. That's when they usually stop people there. And on the same note, right when you're entering, um, okay, in Balibago, there's a roundabout. Right before the roundabout, right before you leave Balibago, there's usually a checkpoint there. So it kind of like that's the in and outs of Balibago. And the reason why I say if you're in Red Street, you're familiar with this because that roundabout is right at the edge of Red Street, and that's where the checkpoints are usually. So what I'm saying is, if you hang out around, Red Street, you'll occasionally see these checkpoints because when you walk out of the street, if you look on your left, you can see them within eyesight of the checkpoint. Now, what I'm getting at is if you're in Diamond Subdivision, in from Diamond Subdivision up until in front of Filipino Casino, there's that good gap. It's like probably, I don't know. I don't know how many city blocks it is. It's about, I'm guessing, probably 4 city blocks in between. So if you drive between those two places, you can technically drive without a helmet without getting caught because the checkpoints are on the other side. They're, it between those checkpoints, there's nothing in between. So that's how Filipinos get around it. But you see people still driving around with that helmet. But do they enforce it? Yes, they do. But there's only, sometimes they randomly put a checkpoint randomly, and as I said sometimes, but usually those are the two checkpoints in Angel City area that you know right after Abacan Bridge and right after Red Street. And same thing in other areas. Like they do have checkpoints, but most Filipinos know where they are. So, but they do put random checkpoints occasionally. Ronald says save gas fart in a jar. Babe says save gas fart in a jar. Um, Second one says insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. I haven't heard that in a while. Heidi used to say that a lot. Ronald says before you know it, they're going to be back to odd, even days to buy gas. Right? I forgot about that.
In Davao, they're down to 500 pesos.
In Davao, they're
500 pesos for gas.
500 pesos worth of gas. So that's 500 pesos worth of gas is about in Davao. Heidi says in Davao, they're at 500 pesos a gas limit. That translates to yeah, it's about
Gallons of gas.
yeah, it's the yeah, to about 2 gallons, right? It's the fuel capacity of a motorcycle or a bike, right, or a scooter. Basically, you have enough to fill up but not a car, obviously. But of course, you can just go gas station hopping. So that's why I told Heidi. I said I know they're doing their best to try to limit hoarding, but it's not going to stop people. It'll slow them down, yes. So I appreciate that effort, yes. Second one says Alameda County, California. One wanting Alameda. Okay, that's where he's saying which county wants minimum wage for $30. Now, do I agree with this? I kind of do, but realistically, probably not. It's probably not attainable. But is it deserving? I kind of agree, yes. But is it realistic? I don't know. I probably not. Most business can't afford that. Um, Ronald Hollins, wow, $1,200 for a 40-hour week flipping burgers. So it's $1,200 for. That's one way to look at it, right? Chuck says, I don't get older, I level up. Now he's starting to a new game. He asked God to step aside and let him take control. Right? There you go. Right? Ronald Holland says, you're absolutely right, George. We control our own money. Bookham Dano Pinay says, financials don't lie, follow the paper chase. Yes, that's true. That's correct. The money trail is going to negate what they said to each other. The money trail will tell all. Well, like I said, Bukam Dano. The thing is I don't think these two, both male and female, I don't think both of them are good at bookkeeping or kept the money. So the only money trail, if any, is the sale of the goods, and even then, I question if she can provide those paperwork. That's what I said. The issue is with this particular case because neither of these people seem to be those type of people. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people who document everything. There's people who don't document anything, and I think this is the type of behavior I'm seeing from what I see anyway. Um, Second Wind Resort stripper jeepneys. They already have enough lights. We just need to raise the roof so we can add stripper. Oh my gosh!
for you.
You reminded me of.
Not for George.
Oh my gosh! You reminded me of. There's this. It's not stripper jeepneys. It's in the U.S. They had the party bus. Oh my gosh! I forgot about that. They did have the party buses, and I did apply to become a bus driver for one of these, and the reason why I didn't get to it was because the owner. Oh my gosh, the owner. She was female. She said, "Hey, I want to hire you. I have the right personality for it." I said, "Sure. Why don't you go do a ride along with me, and I'll see you what's going on." I went on a ride along. It was okay, and the reason why I backed out of it is because the owner had the hots for me, and it was obvious. She wasn't hinting. It was dead obvious, like because back then
Crazy woman, how they-
back then I was still innocent. I was literally fresh off the boat. But anyway, and she had the hots for me, and I knew her. I've known her, so I knew she had a husband, and 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 then I That's why I didn't take the job. And then I met the husband literally a decade later. Like a decade later, I met him accidentally. I bumped into him. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And then he's like, "I'm all right." That's what he said. And then I said, "So what's her name?" And then I swear to God, I'm not making this up. He says, he looks at me dead in the eye and says, "Yeah, she got pregnant with your kid." I kid you not. I kid you not.
With your kid?
Yeah, that's what he told me.
I believe it.
But here's the thing. That tells me she was looking for an out when she met me. And she just used me as a scapegoat to her husband to cover up who she's really having an affair with. But anyway, but I just you just reminded me something of like stripper jeepneys because again, in the party bus, not the same, but kind of the same. Yes, they have strippers on those buses if it's a bachelorette or a bachelor party, obviously. But anyway, that's what brought it up. Welcome Daniel says he wins hands down. The money trail, he will get half. Oh yeah, good point. Has anyone heard from Chosen One lately? Yeah, what's going on with Chosen One? He's on. That's right, and we haven't seen him in any other rooms, right?
No, because we
Yeah,
watch the
he's.
channels and he's at least in some of the
Yeah, hopefully he's
channels.
okay. I mean,
And I don't think we've said anything offensive than we normally, as if anything, we toned down. So I thought about that.
exactly,
Doesn't
that's
get
what I say.
offended. So I just think he's been busy.
Yeah, he could be just busy. He could be just tied up.
We
Yeah.
had people that disappeared for a few weeks.
He could just be tied up in a hostel somewhere, missing a kidney.
Literally tied up.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah. Chosen One, if you're watching, hopefully you're okay, man. Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, some watch and never comment. We've had
Yeah,
friends
and
that just watch.
we have audience, like back rear seat of the theater watchers. Like usually when I watch other YouTubers,
They do it on
I don't chat.
television.
You know what I'm saying? I just sit there. Sometimes I even message these vloggers like, "Hey, I was in your chat today. I just wasn't commenting, but I was just letting them know I was there. But anyway, second one says 500 pesos. I would stop at every gas. Yes, 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 of course. Slick Rick, good morning. George from San Francisco, Cebu. Oh yes, and thank you for reminding us. Hey, second one, you're a moderator now. Thank you again, guys. Again, welcome our new moderators. We have Second Wind. We have Ronald. Who else is new?
Ted's always been on.
Well, Ted's always been a moderator. Victoria, is she a moderator? Yeah, yeah. We're gonna put you in the crew, Victoria.
Yeah, just means that
Yeah.
they can remove comments or
Yeah. Simon says I noticed that slick myself. Welcome Daniel says there's no gray area when you files for annulment, you will get. No, when I say gray area, is it's hard. Like I said, because again, I don't think these guys are good at documenting stuff. What I'm saying is it's hard to document what was spent while they were together and just the business because first off those should be separate. Anybody who deals with business anywhere should know that business is separate from personal. That's why in banking again there's a business account and there's a personal account.
I just changed Victoria.
Yeah, yes, Victoria, you are now a moderator.
Yeah,
Hi Ronald Hollins, same for you. You're a moderator too. How cool is that? She has no proof of him being abusive to her. No, no, no. That's why I said alleged. No, no. These are both alleged, and like I said, both parties are not innocent by any means. It's like, does that give me any money?
Well, I think you gotta catch 50 messages and we'll talk.
All right, catch 50 messages and you'll talk. That's funny. The minimum wage for monitoring is 2,000 pesos an hour.
Yeah, sure.
He's got his own rate.
You get paid a few dollars an hour.
Right.
Bigger channels that are making money, do, but it's more of a privilege right now. Bounce with bitches.
Simon says, really, reason you didn't get the job because was because of Heidi because you can't even get a female in the shotgun seat. Ooh, snap! Somebody remembers that story. That's hilarious, right? There's no evidence of that on paper or from PNP right to write ups. The right from the PNP. PNP is National Police. As they call in the U.S., they call police reports. Here they call it a police report or a blotter. Um, Minor differences, but same thing. Bag of Cheetos. Woohoo! Hello, Heidi. Chosen One says it's probably in the middle of a scammer, honey. Oh, right. He fell in a honey pot. I've seen Chosen One on other channels as recently as past Monday. He says he's getting ready to go to Cambodia. There you go. Amigo says I'll be landing over in Manila next Thursday. Looking forward to my fifth trip there. Second one in George is a voyeur. There you go. Bukum Dano says obviously she was being deceitful. She has no money. She has no money out of paying. No. I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, like I said, she should have shown receipts, not physical receipts, but something, or said something to the effect of. I mean, I know she kept saying call the first owner, call the first franchise owner, whatever. I get that, but again, she should have been more concrete with her answers. It's possible she's not very good at answering questions on the hot seat, which again, it's fine. But no, she didn't present herself very well. No, I agree. Um, yeah, no. 500 pesos, and guess what? The 500 pesos, it's not a very good gauge as far as gas is too, because I mean, correct. It should have been, yeah, not the price, because yeah, the price doesn't cover anything. I mean, because and it's varies per area. Like I said, like literally 2 miles down. Yes, literally it is 10 pesos cheaper 2 miles down. Yes, or higher depending on which direction you're at. You know, usually, for example, here in Mabalacat, if you're headed towards the city, which is 2 miles down that way, that's why I said 2 miles down. You go 2 miles down that way. When you enter Angel City proper, everything's 10 pesos higher. And obviously, if you're coming from that point on, basically, if you're coming from the rural to urban, it usually goes higher, and from urban to rural, then it goes lower. So, point being is the 500 pesos. It's kind of weird. It should have says you're restricted to 4 liters, something like that, 8 liters, 6 liters, instead of you're restricted to 500 pesos. That's kind of like okay. Oh well. Yes, that's another thing. Yeah. V power versus cheap stuff. Right. Right. The grade changes too, and diesel is right now has been consistently more expensive than gasoline too. So that means the diesel vehicles get less fuel because they're more expensive. That doesn't make sense any either. So I mean, I get it, but I guess they have to. I mean, I'm pretty sure they debated over this before, but I guess some control is better than no control. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The thing I've been gassing around Shell lately, because they're doing certain things that I like. I usually um gas up whether it's on the way or whether it's out of the way. I usually gas up in that remember that disabled gas station? I usually gas up over there. The reason being is because, well, obviously it's a disabled gas station. But I kind of stopped doing that for one main reason, that that gas station is hard to get to, and it's not. It's kind of like out of my way. It's all the way to San Fernando, as you guys saw in the video. It's literally says San Fernando. What I'm getting at is, it's one, it's out of my way. I only gas up there because I was trying to support that business, but I stopped going there. One, it's out of the way. Two, it's hard to get into. It you have to be on the gas station side to get into it, and if not, you have to go cut across real heavy traffic to do it. So it's double out of my way. And then third, um, the gas station I go to now is Shell. The thing I like about this is something silly, but to me it makes a difference. Whenever I gas up there, they said, they say, what will it be, sir? Diesel, unleaded, premium plus, stuff like that. And then let's say you say, for example, you say diesel. They'll have a sign that says diesel. Sir, is this what you want? And then I'm gonna put this in your car right now, okay? And then they pump the gas. No, they literally have the sign of what you want in their car. This is what I'm putting in your car right now. So to me, that one, that's a plus. So you know that the guy is aware, listening to you, and putting the right gas into your vehicle. One, that's a plus. Two, they have Smack rewards. I know this is silly. Smack rewards is SM. It's a reward card, so you get points. They honor that there too, so that's a plus. So those two little details to me mean a lot, and not to mention, um, that Shell gas station I'm talking about is centralized. So what I'm saying is, it's in the middle of. It's kind of like, doesn't matter whether I'm in San Fernando, where I'm from Nepo, whether I'm from Mabalacat. It's in the center, and therefore it's somewhat convenient no matter where I'm headed. It's always right there, literally in the center. So I was like, okay, well, I hate to switch gas stations from the disabled guys, but it's kind of like, I was going out of my way just to gas up there, and you know, anyway, um, but the reason why I brought that up is because there have been instances where the gas station attendees, I'm not talking about me personally. I mean, this happens even in the U.S. because I'm like certain places like Jersey, for example. In Jersey, you're not allowed to pump your own gas. Um, so the reason being is because they don't want you to make Molotov cocktails or something like that. I'm not joking. This is a real law. In Jersey, you're not supposed to pump your own gas. But anyway, because certain gas station attendants sometimes make a mistake of putting in the wrong gas. So to me, that's a plus. That's a plus. Second one says, means my truck is more expensive than the mystery machine, right? I'm a Shell guy myself. Actually, I've always been a Shell guy. Um, but here, Shell is not the most expensive one. Chevron is the most expensive one. Chevron. Um, Radar. Mary's convulsing in the corner. Hiccups? Probably. Oh, she's freezing? Heidi says she's cold because she's got a new haircut. Yeah, Mary. Mary. You're not in trouble. Yeah, she slept with me last night. She was cold. So she slept with me last night. Say hi. Say hi, Mary. No, don't look at me. Look at them. Sweetheart. There she is. There's Mary. Hey, Alexander Don Michael. How you doing, man? Thank you for being here. Simon says over a certain out, you get a Jolly coupon or ice cream for over 2K. Oh, the rewards cards. Yeah, you get something. Yeah. Simon says I've gotten 50 peso Jollibee cards. I handed out to traffic guys close to Jollibee. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice of you, man. Those traffic guys. I tell you what, that's a rough job, and some people don't care about them. They literally run them over. I mean, it's a rough job, and they don't get paid a lot. They get paid minimum. They get paid minimum. It's really hard. It's really hard. And then sometimes, like you're not guaranteed hours. Sometimes they said, nope, no work for you today. Go home. Yeah, no, no. It's rough. It's rough. Radar says something about Mary, right? All right, guys. Thank you so much for being with us today. You have anything to say, Bub Bub? No. She says goodbye. Um, um, Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for our chat. My phone's about to die here. Why isn't it doing it? No, my phone's on the glitch. I can't tell you guys who's number one right now. Thank you so much, guys, again for your support. Thank you for watching and being with us, keeping us company. Thank you for giving your well wishes to Heidi over there in the corner. Hopefully, she'll be back on her feet. Hopefully, sometime next week. Right, bub? All right, guys. Love you all. Thank you, guys. Have a great day, guys. See you all next time. Take care. Bye. Still praying for Heidi. Thank you so much. Yes, keep praying for her. I do worry about her a lot. Oh yeah, we were supposed to have a live on Monday, but we probably have a doctor's appointment on Monday. I say probably because sometimes we cancel on doctor's appointment because sometimes Heidi doesn't feel well enough to go to the doctor, so we don't know if we potentially we might be going to the doctor on Monday, which we'll see. Hopefully, it's a good sign if we did go to the doctor because that means at least Heidi's feels good enough to take her there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we have to wait because we're waiting today for more of the blood work.
Oh yeah, no, no, no.
We
That's
can't
right.
go without it,
The
so
that's
we
right.
probably won't
We're
because
still waiting for the
they
test
didn't
results for
answer
the blood
to.
work too.
We only had one, the thyroid.
Yeah, that's right. The
Because
thyroid.
I don't have to start any pills, but it's not affecting my heart.
Right.
So that's without the rest, we can't go Monday.
Yes.
So
Well, we.
probably won't be going on Monday.
Yeah, but I thought we were gonna see the other doctor.
No, it would just be this one, but I don't have the blood work.
Okay. All right. Catch you later, guys. Prayers for Heidi. Toodles. My second number one. I'm number two. Right, Ronald. Bye, guys. Heidi says bye. Or flipping the bird. I can't.